Some breaking news for you, but don't go anywhere because Lindsey Graham just announced that if you bring your son or daughter home in a body bag, you should be honored because they died for the best interest of Israel. I mean, America. Earth Hippie just broke this story and he says, America isn't losing just their embassies, it's losing the Middle East. Lebanese Shillets opened fire on U.S. Embassy. Check this out. So any country that's waking up right now and actually paying attention and wants the United States out of their country, it is the greatest gift that you could give your citizens in whatever country you live in, kicking the United States government the fuck out of your country. If you have the ability, I'm not saying to hurt anybody, if you have the ability to storm those embassies, I would assume that people will be storming these embassies all around the world because this is how you chase the United States government out of your fucking country. Once they're in your country and they have an embassy, that embassy and that ambassador become more powerful than your president. And we use our intelligence agencies and these NGOs to set up fake front organizations for these NGOs. We launder money, we buy off your politicians, we blackmail your judges, we buy off local law enforcement, and then we use our diplomatic immunity so that we are untouchable in that country and we become more powerful than the president of these nations. And then once our intelligence agencies have infiltrated your government, we've taken over your media, we've taken over your country, and we control them like little puppets. That's why you guys all opened your borders simultaneously. That's why when we wanted Drag Queen Story Hour, it went worldwide. That's when we wanted to promote gay and LGBTQ rights in every fucking classroom across the country, across the world. Boom, they all fucking did it. You know who didn't do it? Iran didn't do it. You know who didn't do it? China didn't do it. You know who didn't do it? Russia didn't do it. You know who didn't do it? Japan didn't do it. And that's what I'm fucking talking about. It's any country that we can't control and manipulate and doesn't do the bidding of our intelligence agencies, we want fucking war with. If you won't take our Rothschild central banks and let us cram them down your throat, if you won't promote porn and that filth and that degenerate shit into your society, we're going to come in there and we're going to destroy you. That's what America does. But Lindsey Graham wants you to know that you should be honored if your son dies for Israel. No joke. DD Geopolitics on X said, Republican Senator Lindsey Graham says America should be honored to die in this war for Israel. If we lose anybody in the operation, they will die a noble death because they have sacrificed their lives to make us safer at home. Check this out.
Command. And if we lose anybody in this operation, they will have died a noble death because they will have risked their lives and sacrificed their lives to make us safer here at home.
When you bring your son or daughter home in a body bag, just know they died for a noble cause. While Lindsey Graham is literally traveling to Israel and Ukraine and was paying $450,000 a night for a fucking hotel room. So when Lindsey Graham travels abroad, which is going to be weekly during this fucking war, yeah, you're going to be paying that $450,000 hotel room bill every fucking time. And Jake Shields says, these F words are literally crying. Dropping some F-bombs. That one will get you nuked on the internet. Watch Israel soldiers fleeing the bombing while crying like little bitches. What a bunch of fucking homos.
Call hello, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahawashi, Bahashim Rakakwadash, double honors to the apostles of GMS who teach and rule well. Salutations to you brothers in the highways and byways. Salutations also goes out to you brothers and few sisters that tune in to listen and learn. I'm the brother Malak from the Diligent Soldier Camp here in Boston, Mass. As always, I pray this lesson be edifying to the elect. The name of this one is going to be, it's only the second full month of the year. It's only the second full month of the year. Now, obviously, we're on the 1st of March today, being Sunday, right? But everything that has occurred from the beginning of the year till right now, only almost 60 full days, right? Because, February only has 28 days. So only 2 months have gone in, man. And even though we're in the beginning of this third month, man, there hasn't been a dull moment, okay? And with the crash out that Babylon and Israel caused on Iran, man, it has set out a ripple effect around the world, man. America is not favored right now at all. It's the worst time to be an Edomite, to be honest, man. you know, and even labeled an American, point blank, period, a Babylonian, you know. But we have come out of her, man, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. All right. You know, and this being the year of apostates, sellouts, agents, and the MOTB, man, because all these things are happening live, man, in real time. Okay, we're seeing all these things escalating. The fact that you have you know, apostates and sellouts, man, you know, just warping the scriptures. They was warping it before. Now they're in a whole nother level, man, which I'm not even gonna get into, but there's plenty of videos showing that, man. You know, the main Nigard being what's his face, Hassad, with that big ass dome head of his. No wonder he was always wearing caps and fitteds, right? But anyways, those are just one of many examples, man, in Israel alone that are being apostates, you know, showing themselves to be apostates, and even agents, man, you know. But to stick to the point, man, or to stick to the topic, I want to go off. You got this Edomite talking about, by the name of Lindsey Graham, saying if your children I want to word this correctly, but anyways, this is what he said. He's quoted saying, if your children die at war for Israel, it is a noble death. Right, in so many words. That's crazy, because nowhere in the scriptures does it even speak about any other nation of people or people from another nation fighting for Israel's cause and being a noble death if they do perish in the midst of I don't know, lending a hand or helping Israel, right? We already had someone perfect in every sense of the word die a noble death for Israel, and that was Yahushai, man. All right, so you know these people are totally off, man. These are the devils that the Bible speak of, and for that alone, people should be in the streets, you know, raising hell, man. You know, for being lied to all this time, because it's obvious that these people are using biblical talking points to back these people up, man. Even BB himself is using scriptures, you know. Since 2015, he's been using, or even before that, the Book of Esther as a you know, I don't know what word to use, plight or as a talking point, I guess I'll say, to basically back his political stance on being on the defense against these nations. You know, recently the biggest or the most recent victim being Iran. You know, but none of that is accurate. The way he's spinning that, man. And if you know, you know, man. If you're in the scriptures, you know the story, the point to the Book of Esther. You know that to the Book of Esther, you know that this man is using that, you know, deceitfully, man. You know, and what the fuck you have to do with the scriptures when you people don't even mention God? You know, it's always you and your defense and all your carnal weapons and shit. You don't ever mention the Lord. Only mention Hamashiach when it benefits you, or when it seems appropriate to put out there, to throw out there. But you people don't believe in the Lord. You people, because you the devil that the Bible speaks of, man. You a bunch of converts, man, and living in that land. All right. Anywho, man, you seen the video on post-production. You know, it's beautiful to see, man. I can't clap because I'm driving right now, man. But that whole thing deserves a standing ovation, man, from the planet, man. You know, because, you know, people are just sick of Esau, man. And this is beautiful. All the moves he has made was never really for his benefit in the long run. You know, because look what's happening now, man. Your skirt has been lifted. Everybody knows your true colors, which is red, pink, purple if you fucking choke them. You know, but everybody's seeing the bitch that you are, man, you know, and your tactics, and they not with it no more. they're not with it no more, man, and it's beautiful to see, man. Let's just get right into it. I know I talk a lot sometimes, but I'll just get right into it. The book of Psalms 37:14 says, "The wicked have drawn out the sword and have bent their bows, to cast down the poor and needy, and to slay such as be of upright conversation." That's obviously speaking of the men of the Lord, okay? That's speaking of the men of the Lord, starting with the apostles on down, man, that have been teaching and prophesying for 30 plus years, man, okay? But specifically, Israel, right? And the men of the Lord. But, when you read it, the wicked have drawn out their sword and have bent their bows to cast down the poor and needy. All these other nations besides Esau have more, even though they're heathens, they have more morale, especially those people that are into Islam, because a lot of their beliefs come from the scriptures, okay? So though they're not 100% and they go off, way the fuck off, I thought it was appropriate somewhat to bring that scripture out, because this is what Esau is doing to these people, and they're poor and in need over there, and instead of this man helping them, they make it worse. They make it worse for you, man. Ain't no coincidence that them people went in there at 9:30 in the morning, as opposed to 4 or 5 in the morning, how they hit Maduro. They know why they do these things. They know that's going to provoke them to anger and to attack, to retaliate, and maybe even retaliate emotionally instead of strategic. They know what they're doing, man. These devils have perfected the art of war. All right, but the man of war is Yahweh. The main man of war is Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. He's mustering all these things up, man. Okay. Next scripture I want to bring out is the book of Proverbs 29:2, where it says, "When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn." And that's what you're seeing all around the world, man. This man goes on to mention these nations that are contrary or in adversity with Esau and even NATO, other European Edomite nations. They're Salakia. I almost lost my train of thought. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn, man. And this is what you're seeing right now in real time. The people mourning because all these different nations, man, that the man mentioned, are not rocking with a lot of the things that Esau pushes upon them, man. As a matter of fact, did I get that? I think it was a scripture that speaks about the wine, man, basically, but because I'm driving, I'm not gonna be able to get it. Yeah, man, but the people are mourning, man, because without a shadow of a doubt, man, the wicked are in authority, man, to this very day, man. Okay, and it's beautiful that we're living in the times where he's being sought out, and an inquisition is basically set up for him, man. Because Bibi himself, there's nations that he can't even go to because that man's a criminal, and they want him. You know what I'm saying? Just like other countries that might want Trump or Babylonian presidents, kings in the past, but the devil does what he wants to do, man. Because at the end of the day, the world was given onto him, but this is the result. This is the end result of the wicked bearing rule, man, over the planet. Just chaos and sorrow and death and bloodshed and more death, man. And just a really awful fucking place to live. Salaki, let me just open this thing up. This is the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 15, verse 16. It says, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor their princes," right? Going into their people in authority, man. Whether it's governors, senators, whatever, whether it's here or abroad, it don't matter. All these different countries and nations have order set up in their government, right? But the people are getting to a point where they're not going to regard these people. As a matter of fact, I'm willing to bet a lot of those people that were shooting at that American embassy was probably people in authority, man. Fucking cops and other military people in low ranks or whatever, man. That are right there with the people. They haven't been bought out or sold out. But the point is, man, it's gonna get to a point where these people don't care no more, and this is just a prelude of what's gonna happen even here in Babylon, man. Because we already saw it for, what was it? They call it January 7 or whatever, when they stormed the White House and shit. Even though that probably was a whole psyop, and maybe it wasn't, but the point is, man, it was done. And not only the power at be saw it, but also the people have witnesses, and now they know that they could do it. Almost like muscle memory, man. Okay. It says, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. We always bring this out because this is what's going to be happening soon, and people are going to be invading each other's homes, man, for lack of food, for lack of the resources that people need, necessities. You don't know how bad you need toilet paper. You really don't stop and think about that until you can't obtain that anymore, man. Water is another thing. People drink tap water when they're thirsty and on the go or whatever, but it's gonna come a time where it's gonna be very, very rare, and this is why the scripture says that the Lord's men shall drink, man, because nobody else out of there is gonna be able to drink except for maybe the powers that be that are gonna be in the little tunnels and the little I forget how they bunkers, as they call them. You know what I'm saying? Those are the only people that are going to be somewhat drinking water or hydrated to a point, because the Lord might even put it to that water get all sour and bad and fucked up. I mean, Lord's will, but it's getting that bad, man. In the course of their action shall stand in their power, man. They're doing this, with no regards of police, military, or nothing. You see all them, that huge caravan. There was a bunch of what looks like police at the end, or first responders or whatever. They're in the mix. They're into that shit too. They're pissed off too, man. They're pissed the fuck off too, man. This is the book of Job, chapter 20, verse 22. It says, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. This is talking about Esau, man, especially the top elite niggas, even though the top, that's going to be the creme de la creme, that's going to be the pickings for the Lord's men that are turned into hunters, man. Okay? And a lot of those people have to be preserved too. We ain't gonna be just put them to death, or we might and just put with these spiritual powers, put life back into them, because they're gonna be the first ones to go into slavery, man. Hardcore, hardcore, ultra violent, spiritual slavery, man. Because it's gonna be something that has never been done, man. The scriptures speak about us meditating terrors, man. I do that on a daily basis, man. Every time I interact to see these fucking people, man. Job 20 and 22 again. In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits, right? In the place of difficulty, it says, every hand of the wicked shall come upon him, man. Okay, and you're kind of seeing that right now, the prelude to that, man, or a microscopic view of it. Well, I wouldn't call it microscopic. I'll take that one back, man. This is a big fucking example of what's to come. All right, the Lord's gonna put the spirit on people, man. Pour out his spirit on people to wreak havoc out here, man. It says, every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. If they was to get into those embassy, man. I don't think one American staff will make it out alive, man. People are pissed the fuck off, man. They want Babylonians out of their nations, man, out of their countries. Rightfully so, too, man. You know, because even the Lord himself don't want these niggas in the face of the earth, man. He don't want their faces to fill up the earth anymore, man. You know, it's gonna get to a point where he's gonna eradicate these Edomites. You Edomites, so-called white people, are going to be eradicated, man. All right. 23 says, when he's about to fill his belly, God shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him and shall rain upon him while he is eating. So while this nigga is savoring his NW to the O and everything that he has you know, put into action and to execute, you know, the Lord is gonna let him take a whiff of it, maybe even a little taste, not a full one, a little taste, up to when the Lord just, you know, brings down the hammer on this man, yo. You know, the fullness of his wrath on these people, man, and however that goes, man. All right, but you know, us in the spirit, the ones that are in the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, man, and the spirit of Yahweh Shai, the spirit of prophecy, that's how we feeling right now. That's the vibes right now, man. That's how we living right now, you know. Because I mean, obviously, look around the world, man. Look what's going on. What time are we living, man? You know, this ain't a time to be happy and laughing and shit and acting like Babylon ain't on an expiration date, on a countdown. You know, these scientists, these American scientists even have a doomsday countdown. They know what's up, man. You know, if they wise enough, they'll show how that shit went down a few more seconds, man. You know, or a few more seconds to midnight, because you know what they just did over there in Iran is gonna have major blowback, man. Major. I mean, prophetic blowback, man. All right, this is the book of Ecclesiastes 3, and I'll start at 1. It says, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heavens. All right, now we're gonna jump down to 7 and 8. All right, it says, a time to rend and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak. All right, for a while, the men of the Lord, you know, before the Lord put the quickening spirit on us, you know, we were silent, man. We were complacent in this fucking in this country, in this nation, right? As blacks and Dominicans and Puerto Ricans and Salvadorians and whatnots, right? All the bywords, man. But now the spirit of the Lord has been poured on his men, and prophecy is speaking, you know, making it that much more, how should I say it, lively, validated, man, that we have not been doing this for nothing, man. You know, what's the word? I forget the word. In vain. We haven't done this in vain, man. We're gonna get our rewards, man, if we endure to the end, as the scriptures say. You know, and we gotta believe it, because everything else that we've been preaching has come to pass, man. You know, even with the abundance of men out in the highways and byways, man, through the spirit of the Lord. You know, these prophecies popping like popcorn off the pages, man, off the biblical pages. Okay, it says a time to keep silent and a time to speak. Verse 8 says, a time to love and a time to hate. And that's the time that we're in right now. Because everybody hate this bitch. You know what I mean? Everybody does. Its own citizens hate it. You know, the government. Rightfully so, because, you know, all the government does is shit on people, shit on its citizens. As a matter of fact, Babylonians are still classified as the biggest enemies of Babylon, you know, by the federales, you know, since, like, I want to say the 40s and 50s, you know, after they were invented around, what is it, 47, 48, if I'm not mistaken, you know, and so, yeah, man, that's where we're living in a hateful time, man, and this is why you're seeing these things happening. It says a time of war and a time of peace, man, you know. We're in the time of hate, and we're about to be in the time of war, because for war to occur, you got to have a lot of hate brewing up, man. You know, especially these people with these with the weaponry, you know, that Babylon, Israel, you know, Russia, India, China, Japan, all these people have these nuclear capabilities, man, and none of that was built in vain, man. Every one of those motherfuckers is gonna fly one day, okay? And whether they push the button or not, you know, the Lord's gonna definitely put the spirit on them to push the button, because the Lord is that dramatic. All right, He could easily just turn them on and hit the button himself, right? We saw, for those who've seen documentaries on so-called UFOs, you know, hacking into military bases and turning off silos and turning them on and whatnot. Those are the chariots of the Lord. Those are the angels, man. They have the master key, man, to everything, man, because that technology was given to you, Esau. You know, that technology was given to you, man. I'll leave this last scripture in the book of Revelations, chapter 17 and 16. It says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire." These nations with nuclear capabilities, even the ones that are allied, you know, hey, maybe even fucking, as a matter of fact, I believe even them 48ers themselves, man, that nation or that land also is gonna shoot at this bitch too, because that what's his name? These niggas got like I think they call it a dead switch or something. So if something was to happen to them 48ers, automatically silos just start smoking. You know what I mean? Popping off. From what I understand, you know what I mean? From what I've heard. And that's not even too far-fetched. It makes perfect sense. If I was a fucking villain, a devil, I would come up with that same shit too. Because if I can't live, then everybody deserves to die too. You know, that's how Esau is. Especially the top tribe of Esau. Those 48ers over there, man. Nothing but cruel people, man. And this is a next CIA agent saying this, man. That they're the worst fucking people. They're cruel. To take one person out, they take out a whole city block. This is out of his mouth. These are the people that are running Babylon right now. This is who we are set up against, man. Okay? It says, okay, yeah, that's what I'll read it again. Revelation 17 and 16. "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast," or, you know, from NATO and basically all these other nations that have, because a lot of other nations have attached to NATO, but a lot of nations have nuclear capabilities, man. You know, "These shall hate the whore, Babylon, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire," man. You know, and that's beautiful. Koholo Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah for that, man. We can't wait to that, man. I think I'm going to leave it there. I wanted to bring out Habakkuk. Yeah, let me bring out Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 4 real quick. 2, verse 4. It says, "Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith. Ye also, because ye transgresseth by wine." Here it goes. This is a scripture I was thinking about earlier. "Transgresseth by wine, his philosophy. He is a proud man," because he's able to convince everybody with bullshit. He's proud of that too. It says, "Neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gather unto himself all nations, and heapeth unto himself all people." Okay, these devils, man, they want Iran. Okay, they want China. They want control of all these different lands, man, because this is how they think they will go on with their N to the W to the O, right? Because they you know, they trying to offset prophecy. They don't want the Lord to come, man. You know, they know that is over for them. And I didn't even read Revelation 13, but they know it's over for them, man. They know it's they have but a short time. This is why they moving sloppy too. You know, they couldn't convince everybody to hate Iran enough, man. Iran's been yelling death to you people for decades because of the things that you've been doing to them and causing them to go through, man. They wasn't attacking y'all. Yeah, every time they ever retaliated is because you fucking devils did something first, you know. y'all provoked, y'all was the first one to shoot or to get the first lick, and then, you know, they retaliate, man. But nonetheless, this is the result, what you're seeing on the screen, man. You know, Lord is beautiful in all his ways, man. With that being said, Koholo Yahweh, Bahashim Yahawashi, Bahashim Rukakwadash, double honors to the apostles of GMS. Salutations to you brothers in the highways and byways. Salutations also goes out and always to you brothers and few sisters that tune in to listen and learn. The rest of the hopeful elect. To you all we say Shalom, Abba Bo, and Kwam Yasharala.